Hello everybody, welcome to a video I'm going to do about a game I found called Hold.io. So these are going to be the tips, tricks, and what I like about the game. So to start with, you can see the game essentially is similar to Agar.io or Slither.io, some of the other .io games that are basically large arenas where you're playing against multiple other players to get larger and in some way defeat them or kill them, however you want to describe it. And so this game is about being a hole in the ground and you suck up different items that give you points. And so you can see different points are worth different amounts. So for example, you can see I'm getting 2 points, 1 point, etc. And so as you suck up these points, these different items, you get larger and larger. To the point where you start with like the smaller stuff and then eventually you're able to suck up larger and larger, and then to the point where you're getting cars and buildings. You can see here I had a pretty good start where I actually got quite a bit, and you see the little crown above my head means that I'm in first place. So when you play this game, it's not actually massive. It's not a huge server. You're playing for a set amount of time against a set amount of people. So there are roughly 7 people that you're going up against, I believe, and your goal is to become basically the person who eats the most and does the best out of all of them. So you can see here just kind of first game, I'm doing pretty well, giving you kind of a good idea of what it looks like when things are going well. And then as we move on, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks on how to best win. So I've been playing this game maybe for a couple days. I've got to say it's pretty addicting. I've really enjoyed it. It's not something that has a whole lot of features or anything, so it is lacking kind of in the build out. I mean it's a newer game, so you don't have like skins. Basically you get to choose a color. You can set up a multiplayer room if you want to, and beyond that though you're pretty much stuck with options. So you're able to get rid of ads, and that's it. And then you have like a level system that gives you different color stars, but other than that you basically do the same thing. So starting out, I always like to run around and look for, you can see these cones are really good, the parking things there. So this is what it looks like when you get killed. Right now I've got a slow start, but I want to get these parking cones because the first part is the hardest part. And you're always looking for the park. This park here, you can see I found it pretty early on. So now that I'm large enough to suck up some of the different walls, I'm going to stick with this. The park literally is a game breaker. I have won games where I didn't find a park, but not many. If you find a park, it instantly gets you large enough to start eating a lot of the cars, and once you get to a point where you can eat the cars and you're large enough to eat those easily, you can start doing what I'm doing here, which is moving on to, I call these the apartment buildings. So essentially you want to find you're looking for small pieces. As you do small pieces, you go and you can see here, this is another point I'll come back to in a second, but notice how I went to go kill him and I lost my first place part. But now, I like to go after these apartment homes. They're small, there's a large amount of them, they're easily sucked up. Once you get to a certain size, it's easy to bring them in and to keep them. You can see right now me and the pink player are battling back and forth to see who's going to do the best. But yeah, so you essentially start out with the small things, trying to get to the second size as soon as possible, and you're looking all the time for a park. Once you get to the park and you're able to essentially devour the park, it should put you close to being as large as possible, so you can start eating up what I call the apartments. You do the apartments and cool, it's really easy, killing any players that are nearby, and then after that you can start farming some of the smaller large buildings like skyscrapers and stuff, City Hall, different things like that. So you can see here I came in second place last second. I lost by, looks like a little less than 10 points. But yeah, if you notice every time I play, so these are the different colors you can choose from. There's not really any skins or anything, just the colors. I play with blue, happens to be my favorite color, so not a big deal. You can see here the different local players, so you can create a room for you and your friends to play in. But that's really the only options that you have in this game. So going back in, you can see everybody starts at a random spot in the map. I've noticed that the map tends to be pretty consistent, especially once you get larger. And notice here I'm going after these small pieces again. So there's a few pieces to go after that are really easy. I mentioned before, like the trash cans, the parking cones, those kind of things. And then once you hit the second side, if you see any of these trees and stuff in the middle, those are good. But when you're the first size, going after trees or any of like the street lights, they're a lot more difficult to actually get. So you won't see me going after them very often because you're wasting a lot of time. And so look here, I found the park early on. There's 2 parks in every map. So just finding one park doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be able to pull off a win, but it is a really good start. So right off the bat, I was able to get that. I'm already at 200 points and the nearest person is at 100. So it's a huge boost. And then I can already get started on these apartment complexes, knocking out some of these guys. And you can see each one of those is giving me 4 points. I'm able to rack those up pretty quickly. And I think by the end of this, it ends up pretty good. So, see, and as you get larger and larger, it gets easier and easier. Early on, when you're trying to eat something that you're barely big enough to eat, like the second size that you get, you can eat a car with, but it's really difficult. The same thing happens here. If you're trying to eat something, basically it won't go down very easy. And so what you'll have to do is kind of spin around a little bit. And once you spin a little bit, you'll be able to get it in. And that should make it to where essentially you're able to eat something even though it's barely. But I do suggest that you kind of wait as long as possible before you eat things like that. Make sure that you are large enough and there's not really any issues. Otherwise, you'll end up wasting a lot of time. You'll knock the buildings over, and sometimes you can even knock them into the water and make them uneatable for everybody. Like if you notice that one went over, I wasn't able to get that one. But so you can see we pulled off a pretty good win there with 1,100 points. My max score is actually 1,500. If anybody beats that, let me know in the comments section. But a lot of this is pretty intuitive. I know it seems like a pretty simple game, but these are just the tips that I've gotten. So when I play the game, I probably win 3 or 4 out of 5 just by following these little things. So look for the traffic cones, look for the trash bags, look for the things that you know you can get in right away. And then as soon as you hit that second level, you can start getting up some of these trees and other things. And the whole time you're doing that, you want to find the park. So you see here, I was in the lead, but I haven't found the park yet. And what you want to do is take a look. Like you see that guy just jumped up 30, 40 points. No doubt he found a park. But luckily, I just found a park, the second park here. Nobody's got it yet. So by going over this, it should get me the lead back, and I'll be able to take it. I've noticed a lot of people will find a park, they'll clear part of it, and they'll keep moving. I don't know if those are bots, to be honest. But if you're ever playing the game and you come across a park, do not leave it without clearing all of it. There's enough little pieces there, and it adds up really quickly. And you can see here, just by getting that park, it's put me in a position where I've got a strong lead, and I might actually end up winning this thing, or at least get, top 3, top 2. So I gotta say, overall, I've really enjoyed this game. There isn't much more to say in terms of tips and tricks. Some people use airplane mode so they don't get all of the advertisements, because it does come with quite a few advertisements if you don't pay like the $3 or whatever. I've noticed that works. If you're using an Android or Samsung, you can spam the back button, and that will help you to avoid watching the ads. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully, I really hope they build this game out more, make it to where leveling up gives you either you start bigger or you can get different skins. I would love to see some stuff like that, because overall, this is a pretty unique game, similar to some of the other IOs, but I don't know, it's strangely satisfying to go through this. So, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna speed up through the rest of my clips. You can kind of see what I do every time, the things that I go for. But those are the basic methods that I use to end up winning most of my games. So, thanks for watching.
Don't tell me that I need saving. Finally awake and living. Yeah, yeah. The pressure inside was built